Hi, my fellow queens. Welcome back to my channel. For everybody who is new, I'm Leorah, and I'm so glad you found me because today is the day. Today, I'm doing my own tag video, my very own tag video, and I've been thinking about this for so long, basically ever since I started YouTube, which is now 7 months ago. I wanted to do this, and today's the day. So, let's do some magic, and if you're interested, then just keep on watching. Okay, here we are. I have a list of 9 questions, like right here, and I'm gonna get right into it. For everybody who wants to do the tag, first of all of you are tagged. Whoever wants to do this tag, please, please do it. Feel free to do it and answer the questions and let me know that you did it because I'm gonna want to see it. I'm going to leave all the questions in the description box, but there are also a couple of people that I specifically want to tag. If I'm lucky, they'll do it. So, but I'll tell you at the end of the video, okay? So, first of all, my first question, and all of them are sort of into the fairy world kind of a thing, because why not? You know, wintertime has been always for me like a magical time. Let's go right into it. Okay, so the first question is, when or how did you discover the beautiful kingdom of colorful makeup looks? Um, I always loved color. I did not have the courage to go there, to go to that place for a long time. And I also didn't have the knowledge to do it. So it is not a long time ago that I started to be colorful in my makeup. I was, first of all, colorful in my clothes, and then only subsequently I took it to that additional place. So that must have been something like, let's say, a year ago, maybe something like that. And I love it. I love it so much. Like, okay, did you immediately dive into this magical world and change your makeup routine accordingly, or what made you hesitate? I did hesitate a little bit because I didn't study makeup. I didn't, it was just a hobby. It was just something that I like to do and that I like to see. But I felt I don't have the knowledge to do it. And what if I do it wrong and whatever? So I didn't immediately, go into colorful makeup. But then at some point, and that was probably around the time when I started YouTube, I grew I grew more bold and I started to just do it. If it's wrong, if it's right, who's to judge, you know? So, and that was even before I started doing makeup and becoming a makeup artist. So, my first videos are a little bit questionable according to what I feel now about makeup, but it is a learning curve, and I just gave myself the freedom to explore and to do whatever I wanted to do. So, yeah, so it took some time, but once I got there, it was a very good place for me. Third question: how does color impact your life in general and with makeup? How has embracing color enchanted your life? It totally has. It has totally enchanted my life because I suddenly saw that there is like a parallel universe out there. And I really see it that way because when I was wearing just, it's like there is so much out there, so much, and you can do so much more in your clothes. And okay, so I have this that I can also style my scarves and stuff like that. And not everybody has that, not everybody needs to have that, but that and the makeup and the jewelry and the everything and color brings so much joy. It has been so liberating for me to step out of this, what is considered normal and what is like mainstream and considered pretty, and just try to find my own place in this whole in this world, as me, as being Leorah, as being a creative person, as being an artist. Even before I became a certified makeup artist, I was an artist in my own right, and I try to express myself and try to branch out in different places. And yes, the limitations here in my country are very great because, especially with makeup, we really don't have anything here, and shipping and customs is like, It is a real killer, and I so would love this. This should be one of my life goals to change this for Israel. But it is really, it was the most liberating thing for me personally that I have done in my adult life. So I just highly recommend it because it's so much fun. So, fourth question. Do people treat you like a beautiful fairy tale queen or like a goblin when you wear colorful makeup, and how do you deal with it? Okay, most of the time, people just look at me with a big question mark. I don't think they can figure out what I'm doing. They think I'm dressing up for carnival or for, as we say, Purim in Judaism. Um, I don't think people really understand what I'm doing and why. And they are intrigued. And sometimes people stop me, like in the makeup section in the drugstore or whatever, and they say, "Wow, and how did you do it? And did you do that? And which colors did you use?" And so people are intrigued, but I don't really know. I don't really know what they think, because most of the time I get positive responses where people say, "Well, looks beautiful and like good for you, and that you dare to do this and you go out like this." But sometimes people also react in a weird kind of way. Like I've mentioned this before. Someone the other day said to me that I look like a peacock. And I have been called a drag queen. I have been called a lizard. I have been called all kinds of things. And yes, in that moment, it stings a little bit, just because I think lizards are very interesting animals, and peacocks are very beautiful animals. And y- I guess they are worse things than being a drag queen. So that is not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is that people don't understand my art. But that is, I think, a learning process for myself, that I need to understand that this is my art. Nobody else has to understand it. Nobody else needs to necessarily appreciate it or get it. It's my thing. It's my thing. That's what I'm choosing for my life right now. And that's the beautiful thing, that I'm giving myself this space. And so, how do I deal with it? In those situations, sometimes I'm a little bit irritated, honestly, because I just don't know yet really how to deal with it. I just smile and say, "Yes, I did it, and thank you," and then I just try to get out of the situation. Sometimes when people are very positive, I give them my business card and I say, "You know what? I can neutral looks too. I can." I can do neutral looks too. And if you need a makeup artist here, you can hire me, whatever. But usually I just honestly try to get out of the situation, because I'm still learning to be in this place. This is all very, very new for me. And it's just, it hasn't even been a year. And I also, if you see my first videos, I've been growing so much bolder now, so much bolder. So I can't even compare myself to the beginning of my, for example, of my YouTube journey. It's like a totally different ballgame now. So with all this outside boldness going on, my inside boldness has to still grow and get there, but I'm getting there. Let's get into the next question. Question number 5. What is or are your current favorite color eyeshadow palettes from indie brands or mainstream brands that do the magic for you? Okay, so there are quite a few, and I'm going to try to include a picture of the palettes that I'm talking about, so whoever is not like very deep into all these subjects will know what I'm talking about. Okay, so first of all, there is of course Blush Tribe, which I'm also wearing today. This is another Blush Tribe look, loving it, and the Hasina 2 palette is right now my absolute favorite palette. And they have of course the Malika palette, the Hasina one, like the previous Hasina palette, the Blossom palette, the Fall Fusion, which is right now on the way to me, and the Paulina palette coming out. And I don't know if you noticed that most of their palettes end with the A in the end in the name. It's like Malika, Hasina, Hasina too, Paulina. What about Leorah? Wouldn't that be grand? Okay, so there are those. Then Certify. And all of those palettes are on the way to me right now. And I pre ordered the newest palette, the Affinity palette. And I'm so excited to have them, to finally have them in my life and just go crazy with those colors. I mean, look at those colors. It's beyond belief. People, you will see looks here. You won't even believe it. So I'm super, super excited. It's the Dynasty palette, the Tropical Wonders palette, the Destiny palette, and as I said, the Affinity palette. Very, very excited to have them coming to me right now. Then there is, of course, Juvia's Place, though these are all sort of the obvious ones. You know, Juvia's Place has very, very exciting palettes. For example, the Masquerade palette, the Festival palette, and the Zulu palette. They speak very much to me. Everything that is like more than just a pop of color in the neutral palette is very, very interesting to me. Then there is Colored Rain. They have the Vivid Pigment palette that is so exciting to me. And I really, they had a sale on this now on Black Friday, and I so wanted to buy it, but I couldn't. I had other expenses that were more important. So I couldn't, but at some point I will have that palette, and there's not going to be any stopping Leorah. Then there is Menagerie Cosmetics. They have two palettes that are very, very interesting and out there. That's the Dragon Child palette and the Feral palette. Super interesting to me. I don't own either one of them, but those would be palettes that I'm going to try them at some point. I'm going to have them and I'm going to try them. Then Touch of Glam Cosmetics. They have duochromes. I'm telling you, it's like there's the one that's called Your Majesty, then there's the one that's called Bottomless Sea and Scrumptious and Dragon Breath and duochromes. Oh. Really, really excited about duochromes these days. Then there is Coastal Scents. They have the Creative Me palette, but even more than that, I really like their singles. There is, for example, a the Deep Grape that is like a deep purple matte and a vibrant lime green, and you know that's shades to die for. So no, well, I'm not going to die for makeup, definitely not, but very passionate. As you can see, I'm very passionate about it. Next one is Face Candy. There is a palette. It's called the Atlantis palette. It's sort of in the bluish white green kind of a thing, the way you imagine Atlantis to be. I don't own it, but one day I will. Beautiful. Then another palette that is just now very, very, current. The Cleonut Cosmetics. I don't know how to say this. 66.5 degree north collection. They have a palette about like the Arctic Circle, the colors of the Arctic Circle. Hard to say. And that is an amazing palette. Yeah, there are a lot of lighter shades also because they're sort of imitating the landscape and the flora and fauna, I guess. And there are a lot of lighter shades like white and stuff like that. But overall, this palette is amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. And one day, God willing, I'm going to have that one too. Then there is something else that is called Enchanted Luster, and you can get them via Etsy, the website. And they have trichrome pressed eyeshadows. This is it looks like fairy tale dust everywhere. I love that. The trichrome, really, never I never had anything like this. I never tried anything like this. Very, very, very interested in that. Of course, I don't want to drag this out forever, so I'm just going to mention one more, and that is September Rose Cosmetics, the Slush palette. That is another palette that I need to have in my life. So, as you can see, I don't really have a lot. My collection is pretty small for a makeup artist. Um, but I'm just starting out. This is just the beginning of my journey. I'm just building my collection. So, most of these things are basically on my wants list or are right now on the way to me, some of those palettes, but I feel like I can't breathe. I'm just so excited about colors and about the potential that is in a palette, and to try everything, to just put makeup on and just see what happens to my face. It's just this is what does the magic for me. Question number 6. In an enchanted world where your eyes are dragonfly wings, what would they look like? Which color combinations or single colors in eyeshadows or in your overall makeup currently cast a spell on you the most? Very long question, sorry, but okay, so I think it is pretty clear that I'm right now going for very bold, and maybe it's the season or something, but I feel like going really dark and really intense. And I think people get a little bit scared of me right now. Uh, so, but I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really needing the powerfulness of this right now. Maybe in springtime I'm gonna go a little bit lighter, but right now I'm just really going for the boom, you know. So I would say in singles, it would be green, blue, and purple, all kinds of shades of green, blue, and purple. And as you can see today, I'm wearing glitter. This is, I promise, this is the only glitter I own. Um, I just thought that for this whole fairy kind of a theme, I just put on some glitter because, why not? uh, Color combinations, I would think magenta and orange look so good together. I love that. And green and purple, blue and purple, yellow and blue, yellow and purple. There are no limitations really, but it's like when you imagine the color wheel, it's always very interesting to take opposite colors. It's also interesting to use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, or just go really completely off the track and do something really, really crazy and out there. Because why not? Your face is your canvas. Do whatever you want. So I'm just all over the place. Question number 7. If you were to create your own perfect fairy tale ending eyeshadow palette, what would it look like? Okay, so I have done a video on this, I think in August, and that has been inspired by Angelica Nyquist when she created her perfect eyeshadow palette for like a fall palette. And I think I should take my video down because I have changed my mind so much. Like back then, I basically created an all shimmer um, rainbow palette. And my taste and my knowledge and my everything has developed into a different way. So I think I should do a touch-up video on my perfect palette, something like every 3 months. So right now, as of today, my perfect palette would actually be a collection of palettes, and people are gonna go, all right, yeah, I'm not gonna buy that. But hear me out, because I'm looking at this from an artistic kind of a place. Okay, I don't design a palette according to, can I travel with it, or is the outer packaging perfect, or does it have a mirror, or all of these things. I don't care. I absolutely don't care. If I want to travel and if I want to take this color and that color, then I'm going to take a whole suitcase of just colors. I don't care. This is not important to me personally. So, having all that said, I would create several palettes. Each of them would have 8 till 10 shades, and they would all be monochromatic palettes. Um, that means it would be, for example, a palette of 10 shades just with blues, different shades of blues, from ranging very bright and light blues to very dark and deep blues. And 2/3 of them would be matte, and 1/3 would be duochromes or foiled eyeshadows or something like this. It would be super exciting, and I would have palettes in different color schemes, like a palette that has all like red and pink shades, or red and orange, or a palette with all greens, or a palette with all purples. Oh, I would love that, and I would have them all here, and I would never need anything else in my life. So that's what I would create if I were to create like a collection. If I were to create, or would have to limit myself to a 10 pan eyeshadow palette, that would be really, really hard. I have to give that a little bit more thought, but that would definitely be green. And actually, it would look very much like the Paulina palette that Paulina from Paulina Beauty is coming out with right now. So I cannot, of course, imitate that, but I could be all over. I could be, it could be a yellow and purple palette, or I'm going to give it a little bit more thought, and so I'll be ready when when someone wants to make a palette with me. But my first love in palettes would be a collection with monochromatic palettes. That I would love that. I would love that so much. Question number 8, almost done. With which brands would you like to create some magic in a collaboration? Okay, so that is a very, very obvious one. That would be Blush Tribe and Certify. Ha! This is my, these are my perfect palettes. They like, I don't even have any words. So I like their formula. I like to apply them. I like to play with them. I would love to be a part of something like this. I just think it's super, super amazing. And those two are, as of right now, my dream collaborations when it comes to creating a makeup palette. Totally. Last question. Can you see yourself to ever give up your fairy wings and go back to neutral looks? No, but um, I like very much actually neutral looks, but with, for example, a neutral upper eye and then a very, very light blue under eye, or like mixing it up. That I can imagine. To go completely neutral is very, very hard for me, and I feel like off the whole day. The other week, I made a tutorial on a classy natural, like neutral eye makeup look, or all over makeup look, and that was so hard for me, and I was so proud of myself that I got through this tutorial. And I got a lot of compliments on that day, probably even more than on a day that I look like this. But I personally think that it's probably because people are intimidated by someone who looks like this, and maybe a little bit scared. And when someone looks more classy and what people know and what people can relate to, then people they feel freer to approach you and to tell you that you look nice. So I can not see myself being one of those neutral girls or YouTubers or makeup artists. Um, I cannot. No, but I can see myself combining things, mixing it up. I don't want to include, no, I don't want to exclude neutrals like altogether, but I will, like, if I have a choice, and I do have a choice, of course, because I make the choices for myself. um, I would not reach for a neutral palette, or go for a neutral look voluntarily if I don't have to. Okay, so this was it. I'm actually a little bit surprised that I got through this without fainting, because I think my legs have died. I'm so excited. It's so dead. I just, ow, it hurts. So, my queens, now we have gotten to the part where I just want to share with you who I want to tag to do this magical enchanted color makeup tag. And there is the obvious one, that is Angelica Nyquist. I've mentioned her so many times on my channel, and I just really, really like her a lot. And I always watch her, and I like all of these people that I'm going to mention. I am subscribed to them, and I watch them. And I just really want them to do this tag, because I want to see what they are saying about my questions. So there is Angelica, of course. There is Paulina from Paulina Beauty, which I just found a couple weeks ago, honestly, and I've been enjoying her. I'm going to link all of them that I'm tagging, obviously, in the description box. Then there is Amy from Amy Loves Makeup. All of them have a thing for colors. Obviously, I really want to support colorful creators, because this is just my life that I'm living right now, and I'm so happy in this place. So all of these people are like very artistic, colorful creators. Then there is Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, Make Me Up Missa, Katie Michaelis, Julie Masukato. No, sorry, Julia Masukato. I don't speak, I think it's Italian probably, I don't know, sorry. And there's another name that is even more difficult for me, Rocchio Cervantes. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I just, Um, I'm happy that I speak English. So, and if there's anyone else who wants to do this tag, who enjoys color and who just lives that life and is so happy about it and wants to bring the magic into your own life, into your own kingdom, then please feel free to do it and let me know if you did it because I want to see your answers. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel because I would really, really love to have you. And I'm just growing my kingdom, my tiny little place here. But it's a good place, it's a happy place, and I'm just so glad to have you here. My next video will come up on Monday, and unfortunately, as my regulars know, I just don't have the time to do more than 2 videos per week because this is really just a hobby for me and I'm just starting out and I'm working and I have a very, very big family with 7 kids. I cannot do more, even though I wish I could do recording every single day. But if you want to stick around, I would really, really love it. And maybe I'll see you next time. I really, really hope so. Up until then, go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.